again. And I'm sorry we'll still be using things like masks and taking your temperature. It's just, obviously, as you can imagine, as schools open back up, the cases are rising in Staffordshire, so we're just being extra careful there. But it is, you are very, very welcome, and we didn't know what the uptake would be like, because I know some people are nervous coming into the school, etc. But it's lovely to have you, and it kind of helps us to remember why we're here. It's been a very strange couple of years, so hopefully we'll be able to give you some information. I'll start off just to give you a whole school approach, and then I'll pass over to our lovely early years leaders here, who will tell you more information about your year groups. Okay, go Mrs. Jervis. So the very first thing that we want to say is that this year, fingers crossed and touching everything going, we want to open our doors to you all and embrace our parents and our community again, because that's something that made Knightsley really special, the amount of work that we did in the community and the parent engagement activities that we had before. So hopefully that you'll find a lot more of those things coming up and you'll be invited to, which will be fantastic, and like I say, make us feel more like a school again, and hopefully make you feel part of it a little bit more. Which means that our PTFA should hopefully be up and running this year. We're going to be asking for some new volunteers to help out with that, because we had Nikki Chow, who became one of our directors of the MAT, Children First Learning Partnership. She can't actually be involved in our PTFA anymore, and she arranged amazing activities with the bonfire and everything else. So we'll be looking for volunteers, folks, and we'll invite you to those as soon as we can get going. But we're really hoping that the fireworks and all the discos and all the things that we used to be able to do before will be up and running again next year, and that your children can enjoy, and hopefully raise the money that we need for the school. Because what we'd really like to do is create a new reading garden outside, so hopefully we can use our wonderful facilities a lot more as well. So just so that you know, obviously yours are little at the moment in the early years, but writing and spelling is a real focus for us in the school this year. And that's really because it's the hardest thing that we've kept going during COVID. I think because the actual physical writing became quite tricky for those at home, and therefore the handwriting and things that we normally do and practice in school just hadn't been as much of a priority at home, understandably. So we're just really focusing on writing, spelling, and language choices, really trying to up-level all the work and the language that we're using with the children to make sure that we're the best that they can be. So, the other thing that's kind of slipped through the net in the last couple of years with COVID is that we wrote a really, really progressive curriculum for all the different subject areas. And that goes from nursery all the way up to year 4, so the children are building on skills every year, so they're getting to become better geographers, better historians, better artists and all those things. And all of our curriculum is on our website under all those different buttons there. So if you've ever got a spare 5 minutes and you can't sleep, then it's a good place to go and have a look. But the staff work really, really hard on those documents, and we're really looking forward to getting our teeth into that and the topics much more this year, rather than the catch-up curriculum that we've been doing the last couple of years. So the big thing as well is maximising the impact of our fantastic facilities. Year 1 has started their forest school again. Swimming has started again from year 1 up, and it will be started soon for reception and for nursery. And obviously that's a really big part of Knightsley, and we really want to make sure that we are utilising that as much as we can. Been speaking to Mrs. Jones, our swimming teacher, and she's hoping to start swimming lessons after half term, once the children have got back used to the kind of new routines that we've got in the changing rooms and things. Outside our reception area, we've got a fantastic, we worked very hard on a bit, didn't we? Miss Lee's a fantastic new outdoor area there. We're just waiting for the canopies, aren't we? Next week the canopies come, which means that our children can be outside an awful lot more in this horrible weather that we've got and not get soaked. But also for early years staff who took so much time creating resources, and then they get like drip wet through because it's rained on them all day. It can be really, really frustrating. So we're really hoping that this time can bring a new level to it. Like I say, forest school's there, and we really would like to focus on with our PTFA a lovely reading garden. Where the chickens used to be, if anyone knows where the chickens used to be, that's where we're going to hopefully get going there. And then Mr Evans is involved in the Eco Club, and we're going to really try and get our gardening up and going, including all the crops that we tend to grow outside there as well, which will be great. So that's really what we're trying to do, is to use our school as much as we can, now that we're all not stuck in bubbles, etc., and we can have different children mixing, which would be great. Really, to let you know, behind the scenes, we've been working with Kingsfield first of all, and we've had a shared local advisory board or governors for about 6 years now, would you say? Well, we're branching out on our own this year, so NIPAS is going to have its own local advisory board, which is the governors, and they'll be involved in just our schools, so they should really understand our priorities, our data, our children, and hopefully their presence will be known a lot more, because them, like yourselves, haven't been allowed into schools, so they'll be able to get in and see what's going on the ground and be able to hold my lovely senior leaders to account, etc., which would be fantastic. So that's something that's up and coming this year, one of our priorities there. And again, it's just to make sure that our attendance creeps up again, because obviously it's been really scary and strange and very hard, and we've been getting some very, very thorough advice from the county about kind of COVID and symptoms and all kinds of things. And like I say, it is creeping up again. Those cases are on the rise again. However, as you know, we don't need to be closing class bubbles anymore. It'll be about individuals and who they've been mixing with. So hopefully attendance should go from strength to strength this year. And that's staff as well, because obviously it's different for staff, if they're double jabbed, etc. They can keep coming to school and hopefully keep all your children safe as well. But it's about making sure that attendance is really, really important. And I know a lot of people have missed holidays over the last few years, and it's really tempting to have those holidays back in school time again. However, it's just that every day does count, particularly at this young age. It's like if you've just got your little one settled and then you're off for a week, we get back to all those tears again, don't we, which can be hard work. So it's just making sure we're working together to make sure that attendance matters and every day counts. And that's the boring bit for me, but it's just making sure that you get that overview, that we do work very closely as a school. Miss Lees is one of my senior leaders. Obviously she's the early years leader. Mrs Beckett is also one of my senior leaders because she's our SEND coordinator. So we do work really, really closely together. Mrs Edgerton is our maths leader, so she's one of my senior leaders, and then Mrs Ellis is obviously back after maternity leave. So we are the five, the awesome five. You know, and so if there's ever times that I'm not in to deal with any of the queries that you have, obviously I can leave you in my wonderful leaders' hands, and they will hopefully represent me and give the same kind of feedback that I will be giving to you as well. But I'm sure you don't want to hear any more from me. You want to find out what's going to be happening with your children, so I'll hand you over to Miss Lees and Miss Becky and Mrs Julie. Thank you very much.
I mean, I don't know how excited I'm going to be now that she said her boring bits out of the way, but I'll try. But it is nice to see everybody. It's been really difficult. Last year we only got to meet the parents at the door, and we tried as best through email, but it is really nice to be able to, to spend the time to get to know everybody. So it is really nice to not be talking just to a camera today. So thank you for coming. So the aims of today is just to welcome you. I'm going to go over the communication, tips on how to help your child succeed in school, and then I have just put together a quick reception and nursery checklist as well. This PowerPoint is on the website. I will show you in a minute where it is. So as I know Mrs Goodger just touched on it then, but we are a bigger family than just NIPASLey. We are actually a multi-academy, so we are really lucky in that myself being the early years lead, I don't just work on my own. I do work with Kingsfield, Oxay, Redmich, and then Castlechurch a bit further on, but we all still do work together, which is brilliant. So there's loads, not just the people that you see, there are lots of other teachers looking after your children as well, putting their input in and their advice. So we are really lucky in that we've got quite a big support system within the MAP. That's just to make you aware the Learning Children First Learning Partnership badge does sometimes appear on letters, so that's what it is. It just means that it's lots of schools working together. So our Knivesey News, Mrs Goodge has just touched on it, is our outside area. There was a lot of tears in the end from myself to get them to come over summer to get that done. So we are really excited about that, and they are loving it. They've got the bikes out today for the first time. We've made sure that they're all okay on them first, but they're just racing around that track. It's been really good for road safety. They've all had to really take the time crossing the road, so they've really been enjoying the outside area. So we're so excited to get the roof on next week, so that we don't have to run out and put the lid on the sandpit when it starts to rain. The uniform is new, and I'm sure you probably put two and two together. It is because we've had such a big development on the outside area. You know, the AstroTurf and things like that. They do need the trainers and the shorts, and we've found actually we've had less accidents toileting wise as well, because there's no buttons, and you know they can just, it's a quick trip. But yeah, it's just to make sure that they could get the most out of that outside area, the new uniform is. And it is their PE kit for year one as well, so if it starts to get a bit snug, don't worry, because it will be in year one as well. Also, something that is, well, it's not new, but we haven't actually needed to use it before because we've always been full in nursery, but I don't know if you've got younger ones. If your child is 3 before they start in September next year, they can start early this year, just because we've got the spaces. So there's applications online, and if any more information, just call the office. So that's just to make you aware. And if you've got children in nursery, you know, in March, after March, you might start in January, you might start to see some more little faces arrive. So that's what it is. They're just pre-nursery admissions. So the who's who, so there's Mrs Jervis and Mrs Ford in the nursery. Mrs Ford is actually going off on Wednesday, so we have got Mrs Hackney coming in to cover that as well. So there will be 2 adults, and then from January there will be an addition to the nursery as well, just to cover those new little ones coming in. And reception, there's Mrs Beckett in Caterpillars, myself and Busy Bees, and then we have our learning support team. So Mrs Hutchison is based in Creative Caterpillar, and then I have Mrs Swift and Mrs Court. I have Mrs Swift the first half of the week and Mrs Court the second half of the week. So I say that Mrs Swift is my nice and calm, and then Mrs Court's my whirlwind at the end of the week. But yeah, that's our team. We do just work together. So you know, Mrs Hutchinson's been outside today, so they've all seen Mrs Hutchinson. So it's quite a nice little team we've got in the early years. So what does EYFS mean? Sometimes when you get a text, it might say EYFS for short. That means us all. It is the early years foundation stage. A lot of what we do is learning through play. So if they come home and say, I haven't done anything, I've just played, that is the idea. So that is a good thing. We explore the world around us through real life experiences, and especially in nursery. Say bye bye. And especially at the start of reception, we do focus on those 3 areas. I think, do I go in a bit more detail in a minute, Mrs. Julie? No. So they are communication and language, physical development, and personal, social and emotional development. So it's basically being an all-rounder. Those really important early development skills, that's what we focus on, especially in nursery but also in reception as well. So we were talking about what things that we would like them to start doing. There are things on the website, but there are lots of things that we can do at home. We've changed. I'll put the door. He's probably looking for more. Yeah, we have said Velcro shoes just so that they can be a little bit more independent. You know, there's nothing worse than on a PE day when you've got one crying because they can't tie their own laces and they hate that everyone else has done their own and they can't. So we switched to Velcro just so that everybody's quick and can do it themselves. We have also stuck this year to, obviously due to COVID, nobody coming in. But actually the children we found settled a lot quicker doing it that way as well, because they always go for that, just one more kiss, Mum, just one more. And then sometimes they get themselves in a bit of a state. So we've all said how amazing the children have been. I was in nursery on the first day and they were amazing. You know, we had hardly any tears, they come straight in and they've all settled really well. So just a thank you really for everybody who's done a quick, come on, you'll be all right. Because it really does help. As soon as they have left the door, they do stop. And zipping the coats up, we've had a few coming up to us. with this coat upside down, inside out. They've had a really good go, but if you can just, you know, encourage them at home, put your own coat on. I know some of them are being lazy when they come up to me with my coat. I know they can put it on themselves, but just things like putting the sleeves the right way, just start showing them how to do that and doing their own thing. Just again so that they can get that self-esteem up so they've done it themselves. And it's lovely when they come up to you the first time and they've done the coat themselves.
Proud,
Yeah,
they
they're
feel very
beaming.
proud.
Yeah, so just encourage that as much as you can. Though the worst thing is when they say, I can't do it, and I'll say, you can, and then I have a go, and I can't do it either, so those stuck six, just keep checking. So there are loads of things that you can do at home, playing games that make the children take turns and share. We've had a few tears about sharing, but I think it's because we've all just been in our little family bubbles, haven't we? So just as much turn taking as you can. If you, in reception, we're going to be focused on name writing coming up the first couple of weeks. Please don't teach your child how to write in capital letters, just the first letter in capital letters, as it's really hard to unpick. So if you are teaching the first letter in obviously a capital, then the rest can be in lowercase. Tracing over your letters that you've wrote is brilliant as well. Things like tripod grip and a pencil. Nursery will go through many stages of how to hold their pencil. They'll normally start like this, and then they'll go to some sort of weird phase in the middle, and then they'll go to a tripod. So that's when the 3 fingers is holding the pencil. So just encourage that and keep modelling. Play-Doh scissors are brilliant for those cutting skills. In fact, I put my scissors in the window today because every piece of paper that was out was cut, so somebody's mastered cutting in my room. Things like when you go to the supermarket, I know it's not realistic to have time before you go to sit and write a list together. I'm not living in that sort of a world, but you know, get them involved. Can you get me 1 bag off there? Can you get me 2 of those? Get them involved in that packing all the time so that they're counting and they're using those math skills in the real world. Things like pointing out signs, or the aisle numbers. Think all the time, just pointing out all the print in the real world so that they know that it carries a meaning. That's that early reading skill. And things like setting the table with you, saying, oh, I need 1 more spoon. It's all that 1 more, 1 less language is really important all the time, getting it in when you can. And encouraging them to bring things to you. We've had a little trial run today, haven't we, of them taking their own trays to the bin today. And we've turned around and one's just got up and left and there's stuff everywhere. So just try and encourage them to tidy up after themselves, and maybe in the morning if you've got a bit of spare time, instead of you grabbing everything for them, tell them to go and get their lunchbox. Can you go and get your own coat? Can you get your own shoes? Because we're running down the bank, aren't we, at the end of the day with lunch boxes and juggling everything down the bank. So we're just encouraging that independence now with belongings. Yeah, like I have said, there are tabs on the website which I will show you how to get to in a minute. And there's a ready for nursery and ready for reception. So if there's anything that you want to just have a little look at, they're all under those tabs on our school website. Oh, ta-da. So yeah, our school website, it's under parents, admissions, and then ready for reception, ready for nursery. There will be parent workshops, now we can invite you back in. There is 2 already in the diary. There is Read All About It, which is a phonics and reading session on the 30th of September. And there is a Mind the Gap, and that's coming from all the research that's come out from COVID about the word gap and the vocabulary gap that's huge at the minute with children. So that one's just going to look at how you can encourage language development at home, and that's on the 12th of October. And then the maths one we're going to leave for a little bit later into the year. So intervention, so I know Mrs Good just mentioned, but Mrs Beckett is our inclusion leader. We've been already doing baseline, so when your children come to us, we try and see what level of development that they're at. I know some people have already had pings on Evidence Me and things and pictures that we've been sending home. It's just to see where we're starting from, really. It's the starting line for the year. And sometimes some children are behind in development, sometimes they're bang on track, and obviously sometimes they're and it's just our way intervention is of acknowledging that, you know, that they're just a little bit behind in an area, and we just sweep in, and it's normally, it can be quite a quick fix, can't it, Mrs Beckett? If it's something that we've ran for a few weeks and we think that we need to, you know, get parents involved, and it might need to go onto a personalised learning plan, then we will invite you in for that discussion. But to be honest, the children don't even know they're on it. It's just a quick out the room, come do this. Sometimes it's in the room, and it can be for anything. It can be for counting, for letters and sounds, for even just for independence or understanding. And we often find that if we get in there quick enough, which we do, it's a quick fix and they're off. So it's nothing to worry about intervention. And if it is that we've run it a few cycles, we will inform you. Forest School, so Mr Fox, I know if you've got children in the school, you will have probably met Mr Fox. The children call him everything, Mr Wolf, Mr Pig sometimes, so, but it's really, really good. The children, when I was in nursery, oh yeah, so when we were in nursery, Mr Fox had to hose the kids off, we got in trouble, and then we got separated. So yeah, they're just good fun, they love going in the mud. The best thing that I can suggest you get is the waterproof all-in-one. They're brilliant. We normally just pull them off inside out, and there's your bag, almost your bag of mud back. But they absolutely love it, so it's all about taking risks, developing that confidence. There's children who might not speak to us in the room, and then as soon as they're out in the forest, they're different children. It's absolutely amazing. So we will do things such as, you can see, roasting marshmallows. Mr Fox has got, I think it's a and Jay's hitting the log on top to chop the piece. I think we were making a fire that day. Yeah, it's just really, really good skills, especially for our physical development in the early years as well. Swimming, so nursery is to be confirmed. What we want to do with nursery is just to make sure that they're fully settled in their environment first before we show them somewhere else. So it's normally October half term for nursery, but the dates will come out with that. Reception, we're going to go on a Wednesday morning, but obviously because normally what would have happened is they've been in swimming in nursery and they haven't had the opportunity to, we've decided to do it on a 2-week rota. So what we've done is we split the cohort, boys and girls. The girls will go 1 week, the boys will go the next, and then it gets split further into the classroom into 2 more separate groups. So there shouldn't be any more than 7 in the pool at the time, and there's going to be multiple volunteers in the water as well, and there is a qualified swimming instructor. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of eyes on that pool, and we are expecting some children who've never been swimming before, and that's absolutely fine. We're just going to take a little bit of a safer view on it. So because we normally go split classes, don't we, 15 in and then 15 in. So, you know, we've got all sorts of safety measures on the go for that swimming session, and we are fully aware that some children might not have swum before. So what they'll need is, we ask that every child wears a swimming hat. Girls swimming costumes, boys swimming trunks, no baggy shorts, because we've had before where things have got caught and it's just not very safe. And full one-piece swimsuits, please. Can I ask that everything is named, and that if you can pack the swim bag with your child as well, so that you can say this is your towel and this is your costume, because things like that are hard to label. And we've no idea when we're holding up towels at the end of the session. So if you can just let them know what you're putting in their bag, even what pants and socks you're putting on that day will be brilliant as well. So yeah, that's swimming in a nutshell. So I have already filled out the rota for reception, and I'll show you where that is on the school website as well. So homeschool links, I'm hoping everybody's received a text message at some point, probably multiple, probably 6 of them. But the app for text to parents sometimes messes up a little bit of the communication. It sometimes goes to the app and then people miss it. So my advice would be to just delete the app and it will just come through as a text then. There was a problem with the app within the first few days. I think because all the schools went back, it crashed the app. So it did go down. So if you delete that, it will come through as a text message. So we are, as your child is getting a reading book, we are sending home the Red School link books with them. There's no point in having that really before they've got a reading book, so don't worry if you've not had one, it will come home as your child's ready for a reading book. In the back of that there's a plastic wallet with additional sheets in. When we did the order, I think it was last year or the year before, we opened them and there was no communication page in there, so we had a mild panic, so now we just add them in. So if you've run out, just let us know and we'll slip you some more in. Evidence Me, I am going to talk about this a little bit more, but Evidence Me is a two-way thing. We add observations to it, but also you can as well, so I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And it's just a really, really nice way of seeing. It's a little bit like when you say, oh, I wish I was a fly on the wall. If you are a little bit of a fly on the wall on Evidence Me, you'll see what they're getting up to, and it's live update, so as soon as we click parent share, you can see it straight away. Our drop-ins, so... Yours a Thursday?
No, yours is Thursday.
Mine's a Thursday, 3:15 till 4, and Mrs. Beckett's is a Wednesday at the same time. There is, I will show you in a minute the number. We've changed our number because we've got a phone in our, what's it called? Building.
Yes.
So yeah, ours is slightly different. There's a last number different than the main school number, so I will give you that in a minute. Parents' evenings are termly, and then also termly progress reports as well. We are really encouraging you though to keep using those emails, because they're really, really handy for if we just want to double check something through the day that you've said. And on the door sometimes we have that many messages that it just becomes a bit, oh, I'm not sure if that parent said that or that parent said that. So if you have got something that you want to tell us, maybe a change in collection, if you just email it to us, then we can keep checking it just to make sure. I'm one of those people who check 500 times just to 100% make sure. So yeah, please use our email systems. Anything, you know, any concerns or anything that's happened at playtimes that you want us to be aware of, the email system's brilliant, because then we can share it with multiple staff then, and everybody is aware quicker. So Evidence Me, so as I've said, it is basically a little bit of a fly on the wall. We use it to track their progress through the year, and we use it to plan as well. So we'll have a look on where they're up to, and we'll plan the next steps from that. But from your point of view, it is just a fly on the wall. You can see lovely things that happen in the classroom. You can see exactly where they're up to. You know, if you've got a child who comes home and says, I don't know what I've done today, you know, have a little look. Well, I can have a look on Evidence Me, so, you know, it won't be that there's things on there every day updated, but it will, you know, it should be quite regular through the week. We do use it very often. So this is a sort of an idea of what we put on. I think these children are in year 2 now. So they're making a scarecrow. The little abbreviations are there for us, so don't worry about those. That one just means enabling environment. It means we've done it independently. And then we'll just give you a brief description there of what the children were doing. There's another way to celebrate things at home as well. We have balloons that will be sent home, not real balloons, they're just templates. And we just ask that if they've done something at home, say they got their stuff ready for coming to school by themselves, if you just write it down on a balloon and send it in, it's nice ways of us to say, oh, well done, you know, celebrate things that they've done at home in school as well. And you can add a parent postcard onto Evidence Me as well. I had a little try, I think it was yesterday, so I'll show you how to do that now. Twitter as well. I know that some permissions are no for Twitter, but we do, you know, the class is still on there. We just put a little smiley face or some sort of emoji over your child's face. So it is nice there as well to just have a little look through and see what we've been doing throughout the day. Let me just show you 2 seconds how, because I know that some people haven't received the email yet for Evidence Me. Mine did go into junk, but this is what it looks like when you first go on. So we have made sure that everybody's in now, everybody's email addresses have been inputted, and you have been sent an invitation. If this isn't in your junk or inbox, if you let us know, we can resend it, and then if not, it might be that we need to try just re-entering your email address, just double making sure. So obviously I just clicked here to activate, and it sent me straight through to Evidence Me. Oh, it's logged me out, that's not very useful, is it? Sorry, 2 seconds. It asked me to choose a password. I have to have a special character, so an exclamation mark or something as well, just to confuse matters. And this is what it should look like. So it was really easy to add an observation. You just click on here, and you can upload a picture, say from your phone. There is an app, so it is quite quick on your phone. And then you just add an observation, so these are your parent notes here. And then as soon as you've done, just click. Yeah. And then when I log on to mine, I can see straight away what you put on. So let me just go on to... So that was the one that we've just done there. So it's a live communication between us both. So if the balloons, you wanted to have a picture, or you find this easier, that's the way that you do it. It's really quick, and the app is a lot quicker as well. But just let us know if you haven't received the email, and then we can just make sure that everything's right, because we don't need to work on that. It's really nice. So this is a reception checklist. Water bottles in school every day. Juice and milk money, I know many of you have already paid for your juice and milk. Children will be offered free fruit, so what we do is as soon as they come in the morning, we put that out and they can help themselves throughout the day. It's an additional £1.50 for healthy snacks and juice. They've all had crackers today. Looks like little mice have been all over the carpet. But they really enjoy the snacks, so it just keeps them going that little bit longer throughout the day. Swimming, like I've just said, is on a Wednesday, and there is a rota. PE is a Tuesday. Please name all items of clothing, and the homework menus will be uploaded. We haven't started homework yet because we can see towards the end of the day, we're having to keep them awake, so don't worry about that yet. We will let you know when we start. And class trips, hopefully, will be able to take place this year. We do normally go at Christmas to the Grange, and they do a little hunt round the Grange, and they go and find Santa, which is really lovely. He normally sits in front of the big fire, doesn't he? So we fingers crossed we can start doing things like that again. And you pay for everything, the class trips, through parent pay. So you all should have had a letter come home for activate your parent pay. And nursery, very similar. Water bottles every day, same for the juice. Swimming is more information. PE days the same on a Tuesday. Class phone-ins are Thursday. Is that okay?
Wednesday, please.
Oh,
Sorry, my daughter's got piano.
well, it's what you get for not working on a Sunday, though. Oh,
Wednesday.
yeah. Wednesday.
Okay, you like it.
There you go. It's a Wednesday. Please make sure your child comes in appropriate clothing because they're going to be outside all the time, so make sure they've got the coats. Homework menus do come out for nursery as well, but again, we're going to leave that later into the year until they can keep their eyes open. Accidents do happen, so we're sending a change of clothes daily, just so that we're not running around the whole school with more teeny tiny clothes. It's not very often we have any brought in for nursery, is it, spare clothes? So if you can just send them a little bag just to make sure they're all covered. And sometimes some of the children get upset if they put in someone else's. They like to put their own clothes on if they have little accidents. So. Let me just show you very quickly the school website, just so that I know I've shown you everything. So under key information and admission, this is all the ready for reception. There's a video there, and there are some other little documents there as well. And the same for ready for nursery as well, with lots of different things here. And then the main area of the website that I would like to encourage you to start checking, there is a class page under children and classes. So there's nursery and obviously reception as well. They are very similar at the minute, so I don't need to show you both. Nursery is there, so you've got the information meeting letter, which can come down now. That's for today. The PowerPoint from today is on there. There is a little that's your information booklet, and a pre-nursery leaflet. That's for if you've got a child who's rising nursery in September. And then there are more resources here to help with maths at home, and the same down here for literacy and handwriting. And I will, just quickly show you the sections because our swimming rota is on there. There we go. So that's our swimming rota. But that class page will be updated all the time. So if there's something coming up, we might just send you a quick text that just says, please check your child's class page. It's easier than having 1 of 5 texts sent because we can't fit them on. I know that might sound funny, but we only have so many. I think it's 50, like single characters. Yeah, we're allowed to use in text to parents. So if it comes out like one of two. That's why we slightly probably ran over. But that is early years really in a nutshell. There is more information on the website, but that's everything that I would like to signpost you to today. We are just going to hover for a little bit if you do want to just come over and just have a little chat. And then we are going to try and get everybody out the same way that we came, just so that we're not interfering with the one-way system, ready for the gates at 3 for reception. But yeah, that's everything. If you do want to grab us, just come over. But thank you very much for coming. It's been really nice not to just speak to a camera. Thank you.